There's a wave of public officials in the news right now, from the woman I named the city girl mayor of Dalton, Illinois, to the woman I named the city girl judge, literally aiming at your head. By the way, make sure you have your notifications set to all. I have an update on her coming soon. But you also have other public workers acting up too. That would include the police department. Today we're going to get into a story out of Columbus, Mississippi, where an officer completely embarrassed herself after she was hauled out of the store in handcuffs and placed in the back of her own patrol car while on duty. I'll let you know exactly what she did, but first, take a second to make sure you're subscribed to the channel and click the notification bell for all updates. If you're watching from Columbus, drop Columbus below in the comments. Shout out to everybody watching from Mississippi. Shoplifting, usually a petty crime committed by people targeting retail stores. But in recent years, it's been reported often that those seemingly small crimes started putting huge dents on the balance sheets of retailers across the country.
Now to the rise of shoplifting. Target says that last year it lost hundreds of millions of dollars from theft.
The company reporting it lost $763 million last year due to lost or stolen merchandise, the majority coming from shoplifting. And as a result, Target is locking up more and more of its inventory on store shelves, requiring employees to get help for those shoppers.
It is hard to fathom, but socks under lock. For months now, various stores have been locking up beauty, hygiene, and cleaning products. But now we're hearing that some Bay Area stores are locking up socks.
Walmart says it will be forced to raise prices or even close stores if the surge in shoplifting continues. The company's CEO cited a lax approach by prosecutors to shoplifting crimes, specifically organized retail theft.
2 days in a row, groups of Venezuelan migrants were charged with burglaries in DuPage County.
In a crowded Oak Brook shopping center, prosecutors say two men from Venezuela were caught stealing $750 in clothing from Macy's. When police to stop them, one of the men refused, trying to get away before he was brought to the ground and handcuffed.
Last week, retailer Dick's Sporting Goods had to deal with an unusual shoplifter in their Mississippi store. A woman walked in the store in the Columbus, Mississippi area and tried to steal a pair of $140 shoes. But she wasn't just any woman. That woman was wearing a uniform, a police uniform. Yes, the woman was an officer. She pulled up in her patrol car to do some shoplifting. That's 33-year-old Robin Connor. And not only was Robin an officer wearing her police uniform while stealing shoes in the store, Officer Connor was also on duty. Yeah, a police officer on duty walking around the store stealing. It was an employee at the store who caught Officer Connor and somehow detained the on-duty officer while they called 911. I want to hear that call, by the way. So the employee is like, hey, 911, we got one of your officers down here stealing shoes out the store. The dispatch contacted the managers right away because, of course, this is a cop. The shift supervisor called the folks above him. The next thing you know, the captain was down there, the assistant police chief, and the police chief. They all responded to the scene. The police chief said it was so embarrassing, they had to handcuff their own officer and put her in the back of her own patrol car in her uniform. Unbelievable. They transported her to jail in the same car she drove there in. The police chief said, we're putting her in jail. It's embarrassing for the department, but we're going to treat her like we would anybody else. The agency said this was a cut and dry case. So far, city officials weighed in on the incident. All 5 of them voted to fire her immediately. So now not only is she in trouble with the law, Robin, she's been fired from her job.
Columbus police officer has been arrested accused of stealing a pair of shoes while on duty. Robin Connor was arrested after officers were called to Dick's Sporting Goods about 12:30 this afternoon. She's charged with misdemeanor shoplifting. Police Chief Joseph Daughtry says Connor was wearing her uniform and was on duty when she was taken into custody. Connor was on her second stint with the department. She returned about 2 years ago. Now she's on administrative leave, and this investigation is continuing.
We have a job to do. We're held to a higher standard. And the community is just starting to trust us. And to take this gut punch really hurts. That's why we fulfilled our obligation, not only to the store, but to this community.
And Connor was given an $862 surety bond in that case.
Okay, so we have a kleptomaniac here. The police chief obviously expressed how she embarrassed the department that's working to gain more trust within the community. But this is another example of how these modern woman boss chicks, they get positions of authority and fumble the opportunity. As an officer, she's supposed to be the one in the store looking out for the shoplifters, not up in the store doing the shoplifting herself. Then to get caught in uniform, you have civilians detain her, and they had to come up there and transport her in the back of her own cop car? That is absolutely crazy. Then it's not like they're not paying her enough money to be able to afford the shoes. The average pay in her department is about $58,000 per year. So there's no reason why she wouldn't be able to purchase those $140 shoes herself. But even if there is a reason that she was low on money, maybe she's got debt, a lot of liabilities. If that's the case, okay, then you can't get them. If you cannot afford it, you cannot have it. No different from the tax lady who stole the identity of a woman in her care credit for $8,000 worth of dental work.
Sis, you do taxes. You gonna make that money again 2 days
Listen to me.
from now.
Listen, why y'all taking my money? I just got it out the
You get locked
bank.
up for fraud.
That's not fraudulent. That's my money. Get my phone. Let me show them my account.
Okay, well then you gonna get an opportunity to show that.
Hell yeah. That's
There was a person under that video who made a comment attempting to defend her by saying this was a crime of being poor. No way, this has nothing to do with being poor. This is called being greedy, having no integrity, and stealing things from other people that don't belong to you. All because you want something you don't want to pay for. That's crazy. Again, if you cannot afford to have it, or if you don't want to pay for it, then you cannot get it. It's a very simple concept. But for some reason, they think they could just get whatever they want and do whatever they want. You know, because they deserve it. Doesn't matter who they're taking from, but they'll have a complete meltdown if somebody try to steal something from them.
not fraudulent. That's my money. Get my phone. Let me show them my account.
Just like the tax lady in the previous video. She was about to steal from somebody else, but whenever they confiscated that $12,000 cash that she had, she threw a whole temper tantrum. And if you missed that video, I'll leave the link below for you to check it out. Now, I've seen a lot of crazy things happen, but I've never seen this one. An officer in uniform on duty drove over there in her patrol car, up there shoplifting. And you know she probably thought that she could get away with it because she's an officer. She thought maybe nobody would suspect that from her. But she ended up getting caught. She's looking crazy out here. This is definitely a city girl cop. I mean, she's on Facebook looking like a city girl. She's all in the store stealing like a city girl. This woman is 33 years old. She is a grown woman and she knew better. I do believe the city council voting to fire her, that was the right thing to do. They had to do it. There was no way around it. I would never understand what goes through the minds of folks that do stuff like this. You know, to embarrass yourself, to lose your job, your livelihood, all over $140? A job that paid you enough money to be able to afford the shoes yourself and buy them. Why go in there stealing? But that's enough for me. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. Let me know what you think about this below. Big shout out to Daryl and Coop. I appreciate you all for your support. Don't forget that you can support this channel as well. Links to Cash App and PayPal are below. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel and don't forget to like and share.